Hi everyone and welcome to Caravel Gaming. This is Boomer and we are back with the Revenge campaign in Magic 2014. Today we'll be taking on the fully powered Sliver deck. However, this is also going to be the first appearance of an expansion deck. This is going to be me playing Lords of Darkness. As you can see, a creature size enormous, deck speed pretty slow, flexibility pretty high, and synergy not the greatest. But let's have a look at it. I'll show you first off how I built the deck. First of all, a couple of Festering Goblins. When it dies, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Can use this to trade with a 2/2 or something similar. You'll notice this deck also has 27 land in it. I'm not messing around. Also have an Innocent Blood. Each player sacrifices a creature for 1 mana. This deck doesn't play that many creatures, certainly not at the low end. The reason being, this card, I have 3 Heartless Summonings. Creature spells I cast cost 2 less, and creatures I control get -1/-1. This means that Festering Goblins can turn into just 1 mana, give a creature -1/-1. I then have 4 Diabolic Edicts. Target player sacrifices a creature. Guess that target player is going to be him. 2 Doomblades, destroy target non-black creature. 2 Hideous Ends, destroy target non-black creature. Its control loses 2 life. I think you can see where this deck is going. The Sliver deck, as we know, is weak to mass and point removal. What you've got to do is not let it build up a critical mass of slivers. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I have 2 Grave Pact. Whenever a creature I control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. Not too sure how good this is, to tell you the truth. I think I might prefer Screams from Within, which is in the board. I'll show that off a little bit later. 2 Tendrils of Corruption, deals X damage to target creature and you gain X life, where X is the number of swamps you control. 1 Mutilate, all creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. 2 Damnation, destroy all creatures, they can't be regenerated. And then we finally get onto the creatures when we hit 5 mana. Shadowborn Demon, 5 mana for a 5/6 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-demon creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are fewer than 6 creature cards in your graveyard, sack a creature. Basically, this is a really expensive removal spell. However, he works decently enough, and very, very occasionally late game he'll be okay. He also combos quite nicely with Grave Pact. 3 Bloodgift Demon, 5/4 flyer for 5. At the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses 1 life. Really nice card. I really like the effect. It's similar to one of my favourite cards of all time, Phyrex in Arena. 2 Promise of Power, 5 mana. Choose 1, you draw 5 cards and lose 5 life, or put an XX black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield, where X is the number of cards in your hand as the token enters the battlefield. And then it finally has an ability called Entwine, which means you do both if you pay the Entwine cost. So for 9 mana you draw 5 cards and then put a really big guy in play. Reaper happen. Lord of the Void, 7 mana for a 7/7 flyer. Whenever Lord of the Void deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 7 cards of that player's library, then put a creature card from among them on the battlefield under your control. Very good card, was in the deck right up until the last minute. Demon of Deathscape, 9 mana for a 9/9 flying trampler. You may pay 6 life and sack 3 black creatures rather than pay Demon of Deathgate's mana cost. Would be fine, but I don't have any small black creatures. In fact, here are the small black creatures. Mortician Beetle, 1 mana for a 1/1. Whenever a player sacrifices a creature, you may put a +1/+1 counter on it. Again, these things do have sort of synergy with things like Diabolic Edict, but I just felt like this was a better configuration of the deck for going up against an aggressive deck. Infernal Tutor, reveal a card from your hand, search your library for a card with the same name as that card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Or Hellbent, if you have no cards in hand, instead search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Not really looking to empty my hand in this deck. No Mercy, 2 black for an enchantment. Whenever your creature deals damage to you, destroy it. Could be quite useful, especially with Thorncaster Sliver around or something like that, but not the most efficient removal, really. I really don't want things hitting me before they have to die. 3 Halo Hunters, 5 mana for a 6/3 with Intimidate, or essentially Fear, is what it'd have. When Halo Hunter enters the battlefield, destroy target angel. We're not up against any angels, so I've got more efficient guys. Pestilence Demon, 8 mana for a 7/6 flyer, 1 black. Pestilence Demon deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. To be honest, this was in the deck a bit late, but I just realised you can only have so many 8s in your deck. 4 Onyx Mages, 2 mana for a 2/1. Target creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn, which basically means whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, kill that creature. It's okay, but it's not great. There's just better things. Sutimp, 3 mana for a 1/2 flyer. Whenever a player casts a non-black spell, that player loses 1 life. Yeah, that's just awful for its cost. Triumph of Cruelty, 3 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent discards a card if you control the creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power. I often will, but my opponent's an aggro deck, and these sort of cards don't really work well against aggro decks. Oh, the 2 Triumphs, Triumph of Cruelty, and I can't remember the other Triumph. There's a green one as well, basically depict the battle between Liliana and Garruk. Screams from Within was the card that I was thinking of right up until the last minute. Enchant creature, it gets -1/-1. When enchanted creature dies, return Screams from Within from your graveyard to the battlefield. So with a load of X1s, it basically chains across all these creatures, but slivers tend to pump themselves, so I'm not sure that'll be very good. Diabolic Servitude, 4 mana for an enchantment with a lot of text on it. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Simple enough. When the creature put onto the battlefield with Diabolic Servitude dies, exile it and return Diabolic Servitude to its owner's hand. Okay. When Diabolic Servitude leaves the battlefield, exile the creature put onto the battlefield with Diabolic Servitude. It's one of the more complex reanimation spells of all time, but it is one of the better ones as well. But having said that, I've got no easy way to fill my graveyard. 2 Harrowing Journey, 5 mana for a sorcery. Target player draws 3 cards and loses 3 life. It was basically a choice between this and Promise of Power, and Promise of Power I think is just better. 4 Foul Imps, 2 mana for a 2/2 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life. I'm losing a lot of life in this deck, and I don't think a 2/2 flyer is enough for me to be bothered about it. An Exhume, 2 mana. Each player puts a creature card from his or her graveyard onto the battlefield. Again, I don't have a way to get stuff in my graveyard, so this is just a mirror effect. Soul Cage Fiend, 3 mana for a 3/2. When it dies, each player loses 3 life. You can kind of see the theme that the deck could have, but I just think this is way better under here. And finally, 3 Renegade Demons, 5 mana for a 5/3. Not great. So, with that looked into, let's take on the Sliver deck. I anticipate this should really be a stomping, given the deck that I've chosen here, but you never know. My deck is pretty slow. I could just get a handful of demons, and the Sliver deck, if it does get the correct mana, can be a really dangerous opponent. But this draw is pretty much perfect. I've actually got turn 3 Blood Gift Demon. So I'm going to keep the hand and lay... do I want to lay Festering Goblin? I'm actually not going to, because I'm going to play Heartless Summoning turn 2 come what may, and I don't just want to put my guy in the bin for no reason. If he makes Striking Sliver turn 1, then good on him, but, you know, that's all he can make, really. Okay, so let's make Heartless Summoning, and then next turn we're going to be able to make Blood Gift Demon, and that will, or at least should be enough to see us doing quite well at this point. And he only has Terramorphic Expanse on turn 2, so he's not going to have a turn 2 drop either. He gets a Plains, so he does have access to Path to Exile, but that's not going to stop me making the Blood Gift Demon. With Heartless Summoning reducing it by turn, it goes down to a 4-3. So he still can't shock it, he can path it though, so it's really up to him if he wants to path it immediately. Of course he has access to all 3 of his colours, but he did use Terramorphic Expanse to get there. Okay, so he makes Predatory Sliver. And during my upkeep I'm going to draw the extra card. This is more than worth it. And I get Grave Pact, which is amazing. So let's just put Grave Pact on the battlefield. So that means I can kill his 2-2. I mean, I can kill his 2-2 pretty much at any point anyway, but... at this point with a Blood Gift Demon in play, I'm just looking to ride this all the way home now. He's got double Predatory Sliver, that's quite good. And he's going to hit me for 3, that's fine. Okay, I'll take 1 and draw a card during my upkeep. Just gets better and better, doesn't it, really? I'll hold the Tendrils because I can gain a bit more life from it. Let's Hideous End one of these guys. And then I will cast my Festering Goblin, which will immediately die because of Heartless Summoning. And that will also trigger Grave Pact, which means that his guy dies. So takes out both of his guys, and I've still got 2 removal spells in hand and a Blood Gift Demon on the board. And he's on 10 life, so this is looking pretty much like a stomping. I actually really like this black deck. It's probably my favourite of the expansion decks. It's the final deck we were up against in the expansion. So it'll be quite fun to try and take it on. I'm not too sure what I'll take it on with. He makes another Predatory Sliver. I'll draw 2 and take 1. Another Tendrils of Corruption, eh? Well, let's just kill his Predatory Sliver. And hit him for 4. It does look like he's mana screwed over there as well. He might have some 4-drop slivers in hand. Well, really, his I don't think the Sliver deck stands a chance against this deck. When it's fully unlocked, I mean, we're quite lucky we... Hive Stirrings, okay. Okay, I'll take 1 and draw 1. Just a couple of land. Well, the deck is playing 27, so I don't really have much room to complain. Let's attack with my 4-3. He casts Shock, what at? Me, okay. Doesn't do much really. Yep, attack with your 2 1/1s. Do you have Path to Exile? It's like, you really need Path to Exile. Otherwise you're dead. And he's dead. So pretty comfortable win there. We got a very good start for sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the Sliver deck can't stand up to this deck when it's fully unlocked. So that was a fairly simple victory and a nice introduction to one of the decks from the expansion. And next time we will be taking on Enter the Dracomancer, which is the Jund deck. So we'll see what I can come up with to play against that next time. Until then, this is Boomer for Caraval Gaming, and I will see you next time.